Welcome back to the Slippery Throttle Garage. They call me the K-Man. And if you're anything like me, you're probably out in the garage trying to figure out how to get your throttle cables out right now because either A, they're broke, or they look like mine where they're rusty and you can't adjust them anymore and you're worried about them breaking. Or you've got some new cables and you can't figure out how to go and get them on there or do your thing like you want to. So we're going to put them on my 2002 Dyna Super Glide here. It's carbureted. And hopefully my used takeoff cables look better and function better than my old cables that I've got on here that seem like they're the original ones. So get out your T27 and your T25 and your gas tank cover and we'll get started. I can't find nothing. Take your T27 and we're just going to loosen up our perch. Perch for the master cylinder, that is. We're not going to go nuts, we're just going to loosen it up. Don't let it fall off. You'll break your brake switch in there. We'll follow up on that later. Take your T25 and loosen up your hand control. And I'm going to be really gutsy, and I'm going to leave my mirror and everything on my perch when I do this. I'm just going to lay it on the side right here and let everything kind of rest while I work. And sorry about the noise. I'm literally in the larynx of Hades right now. Get a piece of foam, you know, or like some more shop towels. You know how I like shop towels, or another blanket. You know, they sell them at Goodwill, like 50 cents. There you go. Put your little bumper on there. Because we are way too lazy to do any of this the right way. So we're just going to take the perch off in one fell swoop. And like I said, don't let the front of it come off of the handle control yet. Hold on to it. If you've got a .4 brake system, watch out. Probably going to leak out. Probably already leaking. If you got .5 like me, usually it's not that bad. So when you're all disconnected via your perch, now you're ready to let it go, and you'll hear it click. Just go ahead and set that unit right there on the little bumper that you got set up for yourself. And that'll allow you to diddle with your bits here and really kind of mess around with it. And you know me, I've got it on a flat jack. Yeah, get in there. Like I said, don't be too brave. It's not a big deal. Just cover up that old tank. It's got no problems. You take the T25 and so anyhow, we'll open all this up now. You're probably going to notice when you go to try to open it up, oh, well, supplies. You know, for instance, my bike's got internally wired handlebars underneath here. There's no wires. So the bottom of the hand control half is pretty well attached to the bar. So you're probably only going to get it about that far up before you start feeling resistance, and you're going to wonder, what in the blazes am I going to go and do? Oh no, there's my cables, I got to get them out of there. So get 2 3/8 wrenches, open ends, and break them free right here from the jam nut and shrink them down. You can see how the one has a lot of thread. This one's adjusted out, and the one behind it adjusted way in. You want them both to be adjusted in as far as they can go. Lord Almighty. So anyhow, you need two, you know, those. 3/8 open end wrenches. You can do whatever you want to do if you're going to do that, but that's what size it is. You know, if you don't have two of them, you're going to make it happen. And if they're stuck together, you know, don't be silly, you know. Put the two wrenches together like that and give them a little. And just work those on down. Alright, and our next tech tip, because we're actually going to start touching our grip. If you were touching it before this, it's your fault, not mine. If you got nice soft grips, they're going to get gummy after this if you got a bunch of grease all over your hands. So cover up your grips, use saran wrap or something. Most of the time I just use a rag, because now we're going to manipulate the cables and get the grip bone out of the way. If you've got a throttle lock, go ahead and turn that back, not all the way. Let's go cranking on that thing. You know, it's not your hog. But turn it back enough until you feel it, it'll stop. And that'll stop the shoe from keeping you from pulling the throttle cable off. We're going to do the idle cable first, which is the one on the inside. And notice that I'm not using any metal tools. It might be a pain in the butt, but you can do it. Don't lose your throttle ferrules, cable ferrules. Can we see that? Rock on, there you go. I mean, just keep those. You just keep on those for as long as you can, because you're going to lose one. And now the throttle side cable, the one furthest, that's the maneuver. Hold your control housing and pull your cable and your grip out from the housing and roll everything upside down. Once you got everything to the point where you can go and roll it upside down, you're rolling the throttle back, pulling it out of its trough that it's got back there, and trying to keep the cable pointing into the grip as much as possible and give it a little work. Oh, there you go. And now, yep, the great equalizer. You can see the front clip there, right on the other side. Was that my ring finger there? There you go. See that little clip right there on the other side of the housing? Man, you want to talk about seeing guys throw stuff around the shop. This is probably why you're watching the video. Don't lose your shoe right there. See my shoe? It's right in front of my finger. Come on, get in there. There you go. That little plastic shoe is for your throttle lock. You can just pop it out of there with your finger, you know, or you can just knock it out accidentally and never have one again, and it's just like, it stabs your grip there. And no, we're not doing that. I'm going to show you how to pop out your cables out of the housing now. You're just going to want to get yourself a nice hardened, sharp pick. Whoop. Yeah, once we got everything free now, we can rotate the whole hand control down. And I'm going to hopefully get you guys in here with me as I go and pull that thing out of there so you can kind of see what I'm getting at. If you can't see it, you know, run your doohickey around there. If you got to pop your shoe out, you know, pop your shoe out of there. We're just going to get that thing out of there, show you for example. Whoop. A little shoe. Looks like a little shoe. It's got a belly button in it. I mean, God bless America. Can I do this right? Can I show you guys while I'm doing this? If you can't get it to, I guess, relax so that you can pull the cable, you know, pull it out of there, push up on it, up on the cable, into the housing, and hopefully it like reveals this little freaking doohickey in there, and you can spin it like you're trying to spin like the end of a bolt or something with the end of the pick. Rotate it around a little bit, move it, and well, now I'm just gonna try to give it a tug and see if it does come out. Sometimes they will pop. This one, nope, hates me. See that little guy in there yet? Well, once I've made him a spinny boy, hopefully enough, because I don't want to damage this. This is my bike. I got to the gap in the ring because it's like a C right there, you know. C. I'm going to pull that thing down, and you'll see it try to contract that gap as you pull on it. So you're going to want to rock away from that gap, like tilt the throttle cable away from that gap, and hopefully I'll capture it here on camera for you, because I've got it all lubed up, you know, it's ready to come out of there. I'm gonna try to point it that way and hold my hand control so I don't rip my wires out. Ka-chow. You know, like that. See that little ring with the little gap right there? Score. We just saved that throttle cable. Well, it's not broke yet, but yeah, we were working on something on the end there. Not the best. So, all right, everybody, round two. We'll try a different angle, make sure everybody gets it. Can I get this one too? Oh, there it is. Found it. There's the gap right there. Okay, so I'm going to go and tilt away from the gap, opposite of what I did with the front one. Oh, what? First pull. Sheesh. Robert's your mother's brother. Well, sorry, it's really, really, really hot here on the surface of the devil's butthole. But we made it past the hardest part. Getting the cables free out of the control housing. Now I've already pulled my seat off. Sprayed all my lubes, done all my things. You're going to want to go and take the bolts loose on the back of your tank. We're just going to lift everything up a little bit. This is carbureted, like I said, but if you've got a fuel injected bike, you could probably go and loosen the collar and let everything go and just kind of hang there. But in this case, hopefully you've got enough gas line in your petcock there, because if you can't get it up high enough, well, you're just going to be weaseling those cables out with me. And if you're looking for a certain part of the video, look down in the description. There's timestamps to help you get through it. And if that helps, throw me a like. If you hate it, throw something at the screen or leave me a comment. Well, Pancho's probably going to come give us another security check. Security check. Yeah, take your two 1/2-inch wrenches and loosen that bolt on the tank. Scare yourself because you didn't tighten it from the last time you were working on it. Yeah, if you don't have duplicates of 3/8, 7/16, inch and 9/16, you should probably get them. Because that's the way Harley life is. Harley life. Once you get the bolt down, get yourself a piece of wood or something. Well, big as it can. You know. No. We're just gonna. Oh. Just gonna watch out for your tank bra thing, strap, whatever. And hopefully, like I said, you got enough room to get you back to your carburetor. You know what I mean? And get her up on that little notch right there. Past that, it's usually a point where you can go and get the steel of the tank. Don't get your tank bra thing. You know, probably wipe underneath there while you're full with stuff. But see, now you can get to the back of your carburetor where your cables and everything go into. And in my case, they're just laying on top of my engine. That's fine. So notice, still no tools. Don't use any tools. Just reach in there and just pull out the actual sheathing around the throttle cables first, and make note of where your cables get lined up to. Make note of which way the carburetor pumps. Because this one pumps backwards of a CV. This is a Mikuni. So pull it out of your latch, we're going to go and call it. You see your little spring in there. Don't fight with that guy yet. Oh, don't fight with that guy. We're going to reach behind there and pull that cable out from around that large cam wheel deal, whatever you want to go and call that, and push all the cable down so you can get it out of the rest of the housing. And this one's pretty easy, so I'll leave that one go. And grab your hot daddy pick that you were using, or I've even gotten away with using like a paper clip, and just go and push that spring up out of the housing. Don't try to pull on it or whatever. I've seen guys blow it out of there with freaking air compressor, you know, and send the spring freaking up the cable right there. I've never been able to do that, but I've seen guys do that and made me mad. And this one hooks up just like the other one does. You can see I'm clocking the cable. See right here? And I can just kind of poke the backside of it. Boing, 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 boing. And it'll come out for you. And golly gee whiz, just like that. Cable's on the ground. So hooray! Don't wait all day to go and put your cables back on there. Probably put them on right after you take them out so you can remember what the hell's going on, or refer to my video. We're going to put them on the reverse as we took them off. Not like the climber's manual. I'm going to do it with you here. Calm down. Your spring cable. Okay? We're not even going to call it like, you know, the idle cable or whatever. Alright? We're just going to go and call it the spring cable. Throttle, idle, don't matter. We're just going to call it spring cable right now. How you guys are seeing that, but right now, but my old eyeballs and fingers don't work. Oh, you know what? Here, I'm missing everything too. You gotta go throw it through the front of your tank, so you know where it came out of. That would help. There you go. And then you got your spring. Push your spring up and get it into your housing back there first. It's spring in, and then push in the rest of the cable. I said push in the rest of your cable. Yeah, get it in there, you know, yell her in there. Maybe this is why they were on top of the freaking... What are they on top of the gas? Or on top of the rocker box for? Yeah, that's why they're on top of the rocker box. Okay, good news. I have to route them exactly how they were. Because, Mikuni, you know? Because Mikuni. It is right back. No big deal. I guess if you want to, you know, give it a little, to make sure that it's like in there. Give it a shot now. I've also pre-lubed these cables. I turned them back, you know, turn them down all the way, make sure nobody fiddled with them, and turn them back all the way. And I've really throw way too much lube on them, but I wanted to make sure that they weren't, you know, in the same shape as the other ones were. These ones look pretty good, not gonna lie. If you're a cheap fella like me. Alright, let's go. Throw the other cable along in the same spot. I mean, they don't just go across the top of your rocker like mine are going across the top of my rocker right now, but that's just the way it's gonna be. Get your cam all lined up on the back, get your roller wheel all lined up on the front, and go ahead and do the same thing. Slide it into your housing. There's no spring on this one. You shouldn't have the spring on this one if you're doing it at this point. You got that spring there. Back up. And make sure Alright, we're here, we've made it. Got our gas tank all put back down, our carburizers all back there, put to sleep and everything. You put your tank cover back on, and you want to make sure that, like I said, that you're all the way adjusted down, which does seem like this adjuster works just as well as the other one that I had. And confirm which end of which throttle cable you have before you go installing them in there. You know, make sure that the one that you think opens the throttle down there. And it's usually really, really hard on a Mikuni. So that's really going to be just as easy as clicking them back in there, as long as they're in good shape. You've already got lube and you've already cleaned out your little wells there. So you should be able to go and guide them in there, and they should go and click, chow, right in place. And before you even go any further, like I said, make sure after you did the one, you got them correctly oriented, because you don't want to pop those little things back out. Like I said, sometimes it's a mess. Chow, so nice. And now it's worth mentioning, don't forget your little tiny shoe. Some people put anti-seize in there. Public service announcement, don't put anti-seize in there. Don't put anti-seize on anything ever. Grab one of your throttle ferrules, preferably the front cable. We're going to go refer to now. The throttle cable is the front cable. And we're going to mount a throttle ferrule to it and our fingies without losing it. And remember, we came here upside down, so we're going to fish our grip on there. And look at how dirty it is after I've been touching it and using it. Make sure you got your cable oriented correctly like you want it, and put it in upside down. I usually put the open side out. I'll go and turn it back in. And as we go and turn it, it's going to pull the whole cable housing and all that back together. And now that we've got everything sitting, now we want for the next step, grab your next ferrule, or pull it out of your mouth or your ear, or wherever you got it. Click on your throttle ferrule, turn, at least I do, turn the open end away from you. And without, you know, putting too much tension on everything, remember you're internally wired, you're on a jack. Don't take your fingies and slide into the barrel first, and then work in the cable the correct orientation without crimping it, and snap it back in there. And you should have nice round cables without a bunch of tool marks on them. And now we'll get our T25 screws back together, and we'll adjust our throttle cables. We are just jamming right along here. The carb came home with Pancho, so we're going to try to go and finish this thing up. We might go to Chick-fil-A. So I usually mount these screws loosely at first. You know, don't cross thread your hand controls because they're old and they're probably really expensive and pain in the ass to fix or replace. Okay, no, yes? Alright, let's try the bottom one first. What am I doing here? Sometimes you just gotta get in there, you know? There we go. And now when you do the bottom one, everything should line up pretty good. And originally back in the day, Harley used to go and say, you want to tighten the front of the hand clamshell there first, so that no water comes in the front seal. Doesn't work. There's my seal. So it'd be helpful to maybe have started your bike and turned off the gas and let it run down before you go and do this. But in my case, I did not, because I'm a bonehead. And I know just about where my adjustment needs to be. So we're gonna go about 1/2 to 3/4 on the bottom one. And we're gonna do a full pump on the carburetor and make sure that it touches the stop. And see, without full throttle does not win it the race. Did I get it already? Oh. Got it already. Sheesh. That is tight, friends. Too tight. Awesome. Here on the Mikuni, the idle cable is pretty tight most of the time. So twist up your jam nuts. Make sure you got your little koozies in order. And lock down your throttle cables. And lock down your throttle cables. So this is important here too. Once you get over to the front side of your hand control housing, you're going to see this little tiny little nub inside of there. That's your front brake light switch. Yep. So you're going to notice on the back side of your lever over here that you got sitting on your koozie, you're going to notice that that thing has like a tang on the back side of it where it's going to go and like touch that button. And it's really the opposite. It rides on the button, and then when you go and pull on the lever, it lets go. So when you put your hand control back on there, I've got a hand guard on there like a bonehead. I can't show you this right now, but you're going to want to squeeze the lever just a little bit so that you don't touch that brake switch inside of there and snap it off. Ask me how I know. So get your master cylinder. Well, yep, make sure you get the tools before you go and do this. Yeah, see how I've got it all set up in my hand here? Just give her a little squeeze. Hold on to your master cylinder over here and give her a little squeeze to make sure that your button there does not just straight shear off this little tang inside of there. You can even see where it's rubbed it. So you're going to do that. Watch your alignment dowel. Just need to roll forward. Roll in there. Yep. There you go, that was easy. Okay, you got your alignment dowel lined up on top. You made sure that you're not crushing, because you'll go and touch your brake lever afterwards and you'll hear it go pop, and it's just because it popped that thing off of there. Back on the lift. But we'll go and stick this here on with our fingies, get everything threaded up, because we're still holding it off of that switch. Don't mess up your switch. Grab your T27. In my case, I don't have wires poking out because I'm internally wired. But watch your hand control wires there. You might go and, like, you know, put a pinch on them. Guys, we made it. We got our cables on there. Go and get your tank cover, you know. Pull it out from underneath that bolt you didn't realize you had it under. You get everything squared away there. Don't forget, get your free play adjusted on the throttle. There's supposed to be like a 1/4 inch of free play on it. Don't forget about your throttle lock. Make sure that that thing operates. And that idle cable is the one that you're supposed to adjust your free play with. Because if anything goes on, you're going to want to go and roll that thing back. And that's going to return you to idle if anything goes on down here with your throttle and linkages and stabilizers. And check everything and make sure that the throttle closes before you go and ride it. Start it up in the garage. Irritate your neighbors. Have a great time when you're doing it, you know. But be careful. Make sure that this thing is operating carefully, or I should say accurately, before you go and take it out. Line up your hand controls and everything even with where you had them before. Wipe off all your fingerprints. Wash your hands. I'm going to go and get some Chick-fil-A. If I can do it in just a little bit of time, in early morning, / afternoon, before I go to lunch, you boneheads to put throttle cables on your bike. An EFI bike is the same way. Any bike with throttle cables is pretty much like this. Probably back until, like, you know, early Evos. Shovelheads, they screwed in. They were really, really nasty. They probably don't have those on there anymore. But anyways, hopefully that helped you out. Leave a comment. Tell me if it did. Throw something at the screen. Give me a like.
Have a great time.